Issue is not just how we respond in the city of Chicago, it's the fact that we have a governor, an elected official in the state of Texas that is placing families on buses without shoes, cold, wet, tired, hungry, afraid, traumatized, and then they come to the city of Chicago where we have homelessness, we have mental health clinics that have been shut down and closed. You have people who are seeking employment. The governor of Texas needs to take a look in the mirror of the chaos that he is causing for this country. This is not just a Chicago dynamic. He is attacking our country.
Not so much fun anymore, is it?
Meanwhile,
we're standing here tonight with buyer's remorse because I supported Mayor Brandon Johnson. I feel like a fool right now. I feel like a plum fool. But I tell you what, it's okay. Because as I said last night, you can slap us in the face by ignoring us today, but we are punching you in the face by ignoring you at the polling places tomorrow.
Anti-immigrants, illegal, call ICE, send them all back. Waiting across the Rio Grande and don't obey our immigration and naturalization laws. And to see another group come over here, it's disgraceful. It is un-American. And these rules that you have, the rule, who made these rules? When did the ultimate vote for these rules? When did the people have time to participate in making these rules? And one of you all came over to me, Mr. Blakemore, we got little children. What about the black children in the ghetto? We got to make a future for them. These others will move them out, move us out, and then come in to compete with jobs, goods, and contracts and services. A historian Carl Anderson said that they have a negative effect on the black community. I'm strictly advocating for black people and call ICE on them. Trump, come in here, clean this mess up. The most corrupt city in the United States is the city of Chicago. And that's not my...
Thank you, Mr. Blakemore, for your comments.
That are dictators who are going to the city council and voting against the interests of the voters of the city of Chicago, the taxpayers of the city of Chicago. This city is our city. You're not doing us a favor in city council. You go to vote our pleasure, and you took that right away from us yesterday formally in the city council. It is not okay. We do not deserve that level of disenfranchisement, but this is what the Democratic Party does. This is exactly who they are, who they have been. The Jim Crow era, the Progressive era, and the Jim Crow era were the same. It's the same time period. Those people were Democrats that did that to us, people. Democrats are the KKK. It's the guerrilla warfare arm of the Democratic Party. The KKK walked so that Antifa could run. They're all the same people. They take away our right to vote. They take away our homes through taxes and fines and trickery. They affect our right to vote through trickery, just like they did in the South as Democrats. Now they're doing that in the city of Chicago. And for us, it's time to move on. We want everybody to put your gym shoes on, tie them up real tight, because we're running to the right. We're done. We don't want to talk to you anymore. We don't want to have any more meetings. We're not going to do any more compromise. And because they did not want to give us the referendum that we wanted, we're going to say no to their referendum. Vote no on the Bring Chicago Home referendum. Vote no. We didn't ask for that. We asked for the referendum to end sanctuary cities because, friends, remember, the sanctuary city policy acts as a magnet on the Sears Tower, or the Willis Tower, whatever we call it, the Sears Tower, and what happens is illegal immigrants from all over the world know once they get in Chicago, they can stay. ICE is not coming. They're going to get some food. They're going to get a link card. They're going to get somewhere to stay. Their kids are going to go to school. They're going to get cell phones.
How do you justify leaving the amount of people on the streets that are out here? And you're building tents, warm tents, to house 2,000 illegals? I went from tent to tent. Some of these people are veterans. How do you justify people being homeless at this rate?
We're seeing increased taxes. We're struggling to pay our mortgages. We're struggling to pay our bills. And we have thousands of dollars every month, millions of dollars, $500 million this year to support foreign nationals. And that's coming out of our pocket. It's going to people from another country, from foreign nationals. Those countries have to take care of their people. We just don't have the resources. You know, it's nothing against them, but we just don't have it. You know, we're struggling. This is government oppression at its finest. As a veteran myself, I just talked to a veteran in this tent right here. You know, we're seeing people who have given their all to their country, and we just cast them out by the expressway with the trash. This is unconscionable, and it's unconstitutional. Meanwhile, we have to follow every law. We can't go over the speed limit without getting a ticket sent to our house, but people can violate federal law, and we come in and roll out the welcome mat, give them our home equity, give them our sales taxes. They get the best of our schools. Meanwhile, something like 90% of black children are not reading, writing, and doing math proficiency, but they do it all under the guise of this fake diversity, equity, and inclusion nonsense. We just need to start voting differently. We need to start pulling ourselves out of these government institutions, starting with the public school system. We need to move on from big government and from the city of Chicago's political machine.
This is taken away from American citizens. American children who are already struggling academically. You're going to bring in a new group of children, a new group of people, take those resources away from Americans to accommodate this new group of people. That is going to make the children going to fall further behind. Unemployment is going through the roof. Poverty, crime. This is going to impact our communities across this city to the point to where violence, murder, robbery is going to spike. Not just with Americans, but also with these people coming here. 3,000 illegal immigrants are living in this factory, almost, a half a block long? And this is going to transcend into public housing. They keep saying that there will be no public housing for illegal immigrants. That's not true. So we pay to be homeless, basically, now as United States citizens. We're going to flip Chicago red. The Democratic Party is done in Chicago, and that's a fact. By summer, you think it's a lot of them coming in. You watch the uprising of red in Chicago.
That law be released from the Rules Committee so that justice can take its course, that democracy can take its course. Yesterday, we lost our privilege to democracy. Yesterday, we lost the power to be able to vote on whether we should have a sanctuary city or not. Prior to that, we lost our opportunity to vote whether we should have the Laquan McDonald law. And so we called out to not just Chicago, but across the country to say no to the disrespect of democracy. We call on all of America to stand with Chicago and across the country against this Office of New Americans. If you have the nerve to come up with an Office of New Americans, then what is your plan for the existing Americans? Let me say that again. If you have the nerve to open an Office of New Americans, then what is your plan for the original Americans? The foundational Americans? All across this country, Cities for Action, where you have over 200 mayors and county executives who have agreed to replace Americans, all Americans, with the immigrant population, whether those immigrants come from Mexico, Africa, Asia, India, Europe, all over. We're saying America must take care of America first. We're saying that if you're going to have an office, then you're going to have an office for Americans first, and especially an office for black Americans who descended from slavery and were never made whole. And so with this new, with us demanding that the Rules Committee release the Laquan McDonald law, that will give us the power to determine whether we want to keep this mayor, recall him, or allow him to stay there, but to freeze it in committee is a total disrespect to democracy. And so we call on all of America, as I stated once before, we call on all of America to stand with us, get on board, send this strong message to this mayor, this governor, to the President of the United States of America, that we will not stand idly by while you bring in a new group to replace us. We watched it happen in California. We watched all of America be replaced in California. From those black communities, the white communities. A lot of times we like to divide ourselves up along those lines, but everybody, when it came to immigration, was removed in communities like Compton and Watts and LA County. And they went so far as to burn people out of their homes. They killed family members. When you look at New York, the same thing happened where you have the Jamaicans and Haitians and groups like that. Florida, the Haitians and Caribbeans. Minneapolis, Minnesota, you have the Somali community who now, where refugees who came to this country are now controlling the business districts, the congressional seat. Also the mayor of Minneapolis, Minnesota. If we don't see that as a threat to democracy, if we don't see that as a threat to national security, then what would we, at what point do we see that we are under attack? This is an all-out attack and assault on us. And we call on President Trump to come to Chicago, walk these communities with us, oppose this mass immigration that is killing our community, is killing Americans all across this city and all across this country. And so whether he walked through the streets of Chicago or we meet in Soldiers Field, and we pack Soldiers Field out to say that Americans must be taken care of first before you take and use resources to accommodate other groups from all across the world. Come to America. Come to Chicago. Take care of Americans first, not immigrants first. Thank you.